Coinbase's base chain is one of the fastest growing crypto ecosystems. In this video, I'm going to show you how to earn yield on blue chip assets and qualify for airdrops on Base, including one airdrop with a special boost only for Dynamo DeFi community members. Now let's get into it. Base, not familiar with it? Well, you should be. It is Coinbase's Ethereum layer 2 and the chain that Coinbase is throwing its weight behind. Now, as one of the largest exchanges in the world, despite the fact that Base got off to a later start than a lot of other top chains, Coinbase has quickly been able to establish it as one of the top chains for a whole variety of crypto verticals, DeFi, and then more recently, AI agents. And just to give some numbers to justify that, since the start of this year, the total deposits in Base DeFi have grown from around $450 million to over $3.3 billion. And that's especially significant on Base because unlike most chains, they don't have their own token to pump up the value of their TVL through things like liquid staking or through the price appreciation of their token. This is all assets from elsewhere that have been bridged in. And then if you look at the actual on-chain activity, so the transactions that are happening on Base DEXs, then you can see that it's grown from barely existent at the start of this year, maybe $20-30 million a day, to over $1 billion a day. So how can we as DeFi users take advantage of this growth? Well, the first thing to think about whenever you're thinking about how you're going to take advantage of a DeFi ecosystem to earn yield is what is actually driving people to use that chain? Because whatever's driving people to use that chain, that's going to be the best way to get beta on the chain's token if they have a native token, or to profit from that chain growing in the first place. And on Base, it's straightforward. The thing that's driving most people to the chain is an app known as Aerodrome. So what is Aerodrome? Aerodrome is the largest decentralized exchange, and it's the largest DeFi application on Base. There's over $1.4 billion locked. And if you look at the fees this thing is generating, they are crazy. $3-4 million a week, which is a ton for an app in decentralized finance. And what's even better is Aerodrome passes those fees on to token holders. So their revenue is exactly equal to their fees collected. And then they pass on those tokens to liquidity providers. So the token derives value from the fact that the protocol passes on revenue to it. And then you as a liquidity provider can profit by actually receiving some of those tokens that they're distributing to incentivize liquidity. Let's look at what that looks like in practice. So this is the Aerodrome platform. You can go to the liquidity section here to see the different pools available. And let's just take a look at a few of them here. So to start, we'll look at the largest pools because those are going to tend to be the more reputable tokens. And let's look at this one here, for example, USDC and Aero. That's Aerodrome's native token. So here it's 44% APR. And so again, that token is accruing revenue. And then if you want to reduce some of the price volatility by holding USDC, but increase yield, you can earn 44%. Or for example, maybe you want to earn stablecoin yield. There's DOLA USDC. DOLA is a newer, perhaps riskier stablecoin. Then USDC is, of course, one of the largest stablecoins in existence. And then you can earn nearly 15% yield by pairing those in this stable pool. This other one here is wrapped ETH USDC, and you can earn nearly 16% on it. And again, the reason why this might seem high is because it's deriving value from the fact that the Aerodrome token has a lot of value. And the reason it has a lot of value is all of this revenue over here. And this model of decentralized exchange is called V33, and it was developed towards the start of this last bear market in the spring of 2022. And so we've never really seen quite what it's capable of doing in a true crypto bull market, but I think we're starting to get a sense of it with Aerodrome. One set of pools that I think is especially interesting on Aerodrome is they have several versions of wrapped BTC right now. They have CBBTC, which is Coinbase's version of wrapped BTC. And then they also have TBTC here. And you can see, for example, here by pairing TBTC and CBBTC, you can earn over 5%. And then they also have CBBTC paired with a number of other tokens. For example, a stablecoin, USDC, paired with ETH for over 11%, and some other options as well. And so that's, nothing that's going to make you rich on the yield alone. But that's a pretty strong yield on a version of Bitcoin. Now, I should note that CBBTC is relatively new, and there have been some concerns raised about transparency surrounding the reserves for it. Something else you might notice here on Aerodrome is this concentrated liquidity. So those are going to have extremely high APRs, and that APR is generally the maximum of what you could be earning. Concentrated liquidity just refers to the fact that you're setting a very narrow range for the ratio between the two assets. And if you're new to DeFi, it's not something you've done before, then probably managing it yourself, you're going to find to be rather difficult, to be honest. I have some content planned in the near future to give some guidance on that. However, if you're interested in taking advantage of this to some degree, then another application, Beefy, has a really powerful concentrated liquidity manager. So the website is app.beefy.com. Usually yield aggregators are very risky because you're adding another layer of smart contract risk. However, Beefy has been around since the last bull run, and they have a doxed team, very strong reputation, and they've added a lot of unique features over the years. And one of the things I like is this CLM. They're on pretty much every chain. And then you can filter to platform Aerodrome, filter to chain base. And then you can see here, for example, they have TBTC, wrapped ETH, and it's the concentrated liquidity vault. And they're currently yielding around 85% APY on this. So basically, if you want to do the concentrated liquidity and take advantage of some of these higher yields, then a concentrated liquidity manager like Beefy is probably a good way to do it. And note here, they also have some things, for example, that are interesting, like Euro stablecoin and USDC. Then you, of course, are going to be exposed to currency risk. But for that risk, you can earn currently 21% APY. Not too bad. The next app that's driving a lot of people to Base right now is Farcaster. Farcaster is a decentralized social media platform. It's become especially popular in the Ethereum community recently, and it's probably one of the first crypto social media platforms to actually start to gain a lot of usage outside of just speculation. And this isn't necessarily DeFi per se. However, some have speculated that Farcaster may have an airdrop in the future, so it's probably worth making an account, checking it out, even for that reason alone. And then you also get the benefit of there being a lot of very talented, very intelligent people in the crypto community who have chosen to post content on Farcaster. And then another app that's driving a lot of new people to the Base ecosystem is this app I came across called Virtuals. Basically, this is a platform marketplace, you might say, for AI agents. It lets you create new AI agents, and then it also lets you browse and invest in different AI agents. So Virtuals has its own token, not financial advice. Know that it has gone up a lot in price already, but they do have their own token. And then there's also a lot of these new AI agents. And what I think is interesting about this is that, a lot of these are going to end up being basically meme coins or not worth that much. However, AI, and especially AI agents built on chain, I think it has the potential to be one of the breakthrough use cases of crypto. And it's something that it's maybe had its 0 to 1 moment, but it hasn't really had its breakout moment the way that DeFi did in 2020 or NFTs did in 2021 yet. And if it does, then I think you're going to see a lot of market caps that are much higher for some AI agents. Keeping things rolling, I've got an awesome airdrop and yield opportunity now. And this one's interesting because there's a special bonus for Dynamo DeFi community members. I've partnered with Anzen Finance, which I've been covering on these Base DeFi overviews in previous months. They saw one of my videos, they liked it, and so they're giving a 5% boost to anyone on my free email list. So it costs you nothing. You just got to sign up for the free email list, and then there's a form to fill out with your Base address and your email, and you'll get a 5% boost. And then if you are kind enough to subscribe to the pro email list, where there's a lot of other additional benefits and resources, then you get a 10% boost, and that's $11, by the way. Not being paid for this, actually. I got some questions. I'm not being paid for this promo. The only thing I get is that hopefully some of you sign up for the email list. But Anzen reached out, and I'd love to give things to community members. And for those of you who are wondering, what is Anzen Finance, because you didn't watch these videos in previous months, Anzen is a real world asset backed stablecoin. So it's backed by private credit. These are some loans ranging from litigation finance to auto lease financing to blended portfolios, all these different sort of private credit things that are out there in the real world and tend to yield higher. They create a portfolio of those, and then USDZ is backed by that. And you can see Anzen has been growing a lot, in part because they have this ongoing points program where people are getting points with the expectation that there will be an airdrop soon. And then you can see here the TVLs have grown from around 30 some million in September to over $90 million now. So USDZ is a stable coin, and you can use it. So you hold USDZ and you earn points, or you use it in DeFi to earn extra points. And one cool thing about using it in DeFi is that the yields are pretty good. If you look, for example, here on Aerodrome, USDZ, USDC, the basic stable pool, 12.59%. USDZ and DOLA, 22%. Concentrated liquidity on stables, 34%. And by the way, concentrated liquidity on stables, much easier to manage than concentrated liquidity elsewhere. So that might actually make sense to do. So you can earn that yield and then also get points for Anzen. And if you want the boost and you want to subscribe to the email list, or you already are, be sure to check out this article I've linked in the description. Now, unfortunately, I talked to some developers. We didn't have time, and it wasn't really worth it for a short event like this to build out a solution where we could verify that you were on the email list without actually collecting your address. So it's just a simple form. However, after this is over, we'll be deleting it, and we're not going to be sharing it with anyone. But if the privacy is a concern for you, then I would recommend making a new email address and then subscribing to the list with that. Another interesting DeFi app for yield on Base right now is known as Moonwell. Moonwell is a money market, and they also have some interesting vaults for earning yield. It's been growing like crazy recently, over $180 million in deposits now. And let's take a look at the app. So again, it's lending. You can deposit assets. You can use them as collateral to borrow. But where I think it really excels is they have this vault. And so you have the vault, and for example, you can deposit ETH, and then they distribute it to a variety of pools. They have Wrap staked ETH, they have Coinbase staked ETH, they have Rocket Pool ETH, and then those things are going to give back yield. And in total, it's earning around 6.1% right now. So if you want some exposure to a variety of DeFi yields without having to manage all this yourself, I think this could be interesting. Just know that you're adding an element of risk when you add new smart contracts, and that there is also a 15% performance fee. Let me know down in the comments which Base DeFi you're using. For more videos like this, be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, this is Dynamo DeFi.